Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Patreon subscriber Killacat, this is lands. No nonsense, no silly challenge here. This is just Legacy lands. Killacat and I talked a little bit about the colors that the deck would contain. It seems like the lands grinders out there are mostly mono green these days, but Killacat still likes Swords to Plowshares more than Dismember, even at the cost of splashing white. Got Consigned Memories in the sideboard, Ottawara in the main deck. Technically Surgical Extraction, making this a 4-color lands deck. And I mean, call any deck Bant, and you got my attention. So this is Bant lands, which is slightly different than stock lands right now because of the colors it's splashing, but otherwise, this is lands. This is a combo control deck in the Legacy format where you don't use Force of Will to control the battlefield or control the situation. You use lands to do that instead. To slow down combo, we've got Sphere of Resistance as a 4-of in the main. There's also Bojuka Bog, Karakas, Mazavith, Tabernacle, all of which can be got off of the 4 crop rotations, and those can all shut down various types of combo. Urza Saga, Confined Soulguide Lantern, Pithing Needle. These are also ways to stop what your opponent's doing. And then, of course, Wasteland and 4 copies of Life from the Loam to keep bringing Wasteland back. Exploration lets you play an extra land every turn. If you get to develop and Wasteland your opponent every turn when you got Life from the Loam going, it's just a matter of time till they tap out. Even got the 1 Ghost Quarter for those pesky basic lands people sometimes have. And the way you win is either Urza Saga, which you play 4 of. You have a bunch of passive artifacts anyway with the Mox Diamonds and the Sphere of Resistance, so your constructs are going to be bigger than normal anyway. Like the first construct might be a 2/2 or 3/3 rather than a 1/1. Heats up pretty quick here. You have Life from the Loam to get back Urza Saga. You also have the Thespian Stage trick, where if Thespian Stage copies Urza Saga and then ticks up twice to learn how to make constructs and then copy something else, like Basic Forest perhaps, now you have a basic forest that knows how to make constructs and will not die next turn because it's no longer an Urza Saga and it won't ever tick up to Chapter 3. Thespian Stage can also copy Dark Depths and make a 20/20. Bang. There it is. Giant creature. One-shot ya. That's the combo in the deck. Everything else is control. Technically, this is Bant control. Sign me up. Let's do it. This is lands from Killacat. I'm on the play in round 1. Kind of a slow hand. It does have Loam, but it doesn't actually put lands in the graveyard. This Miser's Soulguide Lantern being in my opening hand is interesting. I am going to keep this. Generally, you want to accelerate, like you want a Mox Diamond or an Exploration in the hand, but Soulguide Lantern covers a range of challenging matchups that having this in the opener on the blind just gives me some high roll potential, and if it's not that matchup, I'll just cycle it off next turn. And having Loam is one of my engines. I can also cover creatures pretty well with the Maze plus the Tabernacle. I have basically no plan versus Show and Tell, but it's like medium fine versus Delver and great versus Oops All Spells. I might just be a little bit panicky because the Oops All Spells tax has been tough in the leagues lately. Just, 20% of your games will not actually be games because you're going to play against Oops once per league. Okay, you've got a Scalding Tarn in the chat. I'm going to try to set up the Stage Saga combo. I do have that going for me. If Saga gets to run its course, that can tutor Mox Diamond, and then Loam is doing something. Scalding Tarn plus Basic Island. The Show and Tell vibe is strong here. I'm scared. Ooh, Dark Depths. That lets me present a 20/20 next turn, or if they cast Show and Tell, I can present a 20/20 now. I guess I'm just going to pass the turn and hope I'm not dead. If I had a different green source to play out, then Boseiju could represent an answer to an Omniscience, but I don't have one of those. I have drawn a huge mass of lands that don't tap for mana, which the multicolor build of the deck is susceptible to. Stock lands just has 4 Yavimaya to turn on all these cards that don't function on their own into forests when you need them. But we got to support Trops and Savannas and Lush Porticos and stuff in this build. So that's the cost of doing business. We'll see if it comes around to burn me. The end step Brainstorm, upkeep fetch. So they're not pursuing a Surveil land here. A Tundra is interesting. That might be great news, actually. If this is some, like, Stoneforge Mystic ass deck, I'm not impressed. If this is a main deck, back to basics kind of deck, that's bad news, though they did just fetch Tundra, so that's probably not what's happening. Okay, in the end step, okay, they started to pass the turn, and then in the second main decided it's time to Brainstorm. A fetch, what's the action? What do we got? Stoneforge Mystic confirmed. That Meteor Sword's a beating. I am about to be able to get access to my Pithing Needle, though, and turn off the Stoneforge. Hopefully they get something like Batterskull or Cauldron that I don't have to care about. Cryptic Coat's mostly in that camp as well. Okay, this is Urza's Saga now. It will learn how to make colorless mana in my next draw, or my next main phase. I have to make sure to stack these right. Okay, that knows how to make mana now. And then I think I'm just tutoring here. Having my mana up for stuff sounds way better than not. And drawing another Saga means I'm not hard up for Mox Diamond here. Pithing Needle. Yeah, I think I want a Needle Stoneforge. This Cryptic Coat doesn't actually even look good to me here. So it's suspicious that they tutored it. And I think I want to cycle off this Soul Guide Lantern. I have a mana floating that I'm not actually going to do with anything with. Okay, another Saga. And I guess I'll go for Sphere here. Just try to make life harder for them. Some of these Stoneforge Mystic decks are really low to the ground, playing like Stifles, Dazes, and Wastelands these days. I don't think Cryptic Coat is in those builds, but I am kind of worried about this Thespian Sage Saga getting wasted this turn. Next turn, I can copy basic Island or Plains with it, and it's just a giant engine for the rest of the game at that point that not even back to basics stops. And it stops me sinking mana into it. Sinking 3 mana into Quantum Riddler feels good. We did something there. Okay, both Sagas know how to make constructs now. And I think I want Maze of Ith. And Tabernacle could be part of the package of denying them mana over a longer term, but I kind of want to surprise them with that later. And I'm not going to go for Merit Lage against a blue-white deck this aggressively. I'm just going to drop Maze of Ith and turn Urza's Saga into Plains this turn. I wonder if I should just tap out to do that now. I think I should, actually. Yeah, I'm going to get a Plains, because if they draw a Wasteland or a Stifle, they could get around this, but now it's... the profits are locked. There's a Plains that can tap for colorless or white, or make a construct, or copy another land. They send Stoneforge back where it came from with Maze of Ith, and those are my plays for the turn. I keep track of this Rizzler out here. It costs 6. Okay, another one. They're definitely the Felia Blink deck. Felia is a card I'm a little concerned about eventually. That's a someday problem. If my opponent comes up with a Prismatic Ending on my Needle, that could unlock Meteor Sword, then I'm in trouble. 2 mana for a Ponder. Cool. This Sphere of Resistance is awesome. I've been playing so much Pre-Modern lately that my Sphere of Resistance emotional stock is through the roof. Just big fan of that. Another Sphere. Cool. Okay, I'm going to float colorless with this. I'm going to tutor Mox Diamond this time. Discard, I think it's Tabernacle. Yeah, that can be a later thing. This Sphere will cost me 3 mana to... yeah, I'll play out the Trop here. 3 additional Sphere. Try to keep those Quantum Riddlers locked down. And now my first construct is going to be 5/5. Ooh, red mana. Notable for sideboard stuff. I don't think I'm going to get melted down in the main. It looks like they're casting Prismatic Ending here. Just the way their mana is being used. Hey, another mana. Another mana. Didn't have to do all that, but okay. My Pithing Needle is gone. Did they have the Meteor Sword the whole time? Sure looks like it. That can blow up my Plains. My Construct Plains, yeah. Alright, yeah. The tutoring the Cryptic Coat that early really did just tell the story that they had this card in their hand. Otawara, I'm not super interested in that. And I guess Otawara cast Life from the Loam. I'll take that. Oh, Saga, Stage back to my hand. Okay. They would need Felia to start flickering Meteor Sword. Felia cost 4, but they have plenty of mana. Cryptic Coat is now online. If they attack with Stoneforge, I'm not going to maze it, because I'm actually more worried about their other stuff. Am I dredging here? What am I looking for? I don't think I'm dredging here. Like, one of my spells would be great. Saga, get that started back up. Yeah, spending 4 turns getting that Saga online and then getting cooked by Meteor Sword. Obviously not the sequence I was looking for on that one. Right, this thing has Ward 2, but I'm not spending my mana any other way, so mazing it still plays. 3 mana Ponder. Shuffled. Hit a land. These Quantum Riddlers are pretty close to online. Equipping Meteor Sword diversifies the damage as well. I can put that onto Stoneforge. All right, now I have to maze that one because it's bigger. At least they didn't turn a Felia face up with the Cryptic Coat. I drew Crap Rotation. That's actually useful. Okay, Maze of Ith. 1/2, 1/2. I can pay the ward and make a construct. Because this thing is unblockable. And this is bigger than my constructs right now. I'm doing a bunch of fetching in the end step. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, they bounced the Cryptic Coat. I thought they were turning Felia face up. I was about to lose my life. All right, this can be blocked now, which means I don't even have to use Maze of Ith. I can keep up. I think I'm a mana short of Crop Rotation. Yeah. Turns out Yavimaya is pretty good. I have to assume there's a Swords to Plowshares kicking around in their hand. This game has gone on for so long right now, and they've not been offered a creature to interact with. Yep. Okay. So that gets cooked, and then I'll push their creatures back. They can cast Cryptic Coat, so I'm not even really saving anything by... Like, there is a sub-game of let them hit me for 4 so they can't activate Stoneforge Mystic. But I don't think that's a game we're actually playing. Okay, I'm going to take one more draw, then I'll think about Loam next turn. And make a construct. I don't have mana to Crop Rotate away. I think I'm just going to get another Mox Diamond here and try to do stuff. Stoneforging before I reveal the second Pithing Needle. That's not in my deck. But at least doing their thing. Okay, a 4/4, a Mox Diamond, discard. It's probably Misty Rainforest. And then develop another Saga. And now I can Crop Rotate. Oh, my creature is bigger than Stoneforge, and I can maze the other things. These Riddlers are online if they want them. Plenty of mana to play for a Tabernacle. Okay, no action. I don't think I'm going to proactively Crop Rotate here, and I'm still not going to Dredge Loam. I'm still like, there's so many lands in my deck, but also there's so many things that let me play without playing spells. Like, my hand has so much texture to it already. And they can just crank this Cryptic Coat like crazy if they ever just randomly flip a Felia. I think the game mostly ends on the spot, but I can rotate for Caracas at this point. All right, the game is on. I'm wondering how many actual lands are left in their deck. Like, is this Ghost Quarter already strip mine, or is there more to play? Okay, end step. Thespian Stage becomes Urza Saga. And Urza Saga makes a construct. I'm pretty close to being ready to attack. Hey, still not Dredging Loam. You can't make me do it. I got one anyway, scoreboard. Okay, this Saga taps for mana now, and I can go Construct plus Rotate. Construct, make one of these, and then Crop Rotation away the thing that's going to die anyway. Let's get the best of all worlds here. If this flushes out a counterspell, it didn't really cost me anything. Do I want to start Mana Denial? I don't think Bojuka Bog is something I'm interested in. Yavimaya would give me a bunch of extra mana to play with. I think I'm just going to grab Wasteland and get that into my sequence here. I can tutor Mox Diamond, who can discard Dark Depths. I'm not running that out. Wasteland your Tundra. Ghost Quarter. Let's learn about their deck. Do you have more basics? If I can take them off all of the white mana their deck makes, then the Merit Lage is a lot better. And the Stoneforge Mystic Engine falls apart. Okay, they failed to find a basic land already. That was earlier than I thought that would happen. That's pretty exciting. And I'm at 20 with 2 Mazaviths, so I'm attacking for 16. Figure it out. They chump. Force of Negation, Prismatic Vista, hit the graveyard. Oh no! They did finally find Ophelia, flipped into that one. That can delete Construct straight up, or Flicker Meteor Sword. I guess it would have to delete the Construct, because Flickering Meteor Sword value would die in combat. Deleting Construct's still not bad, though. Okay, that is gone. Can't do anything about it. I can stop the 2 damage, though. And they tapped out. All right, cool. Nice. Inevitability against slow blue decks is part of the land's offering. This is one of the things it does extremely well. I'm interested in Boseiju. I'm interested in Swords to Plowshares. I could entertain arguments for Disruptor Flute. I could entertain arguments for Force of Vigor. Good chance this deck has Back to Basics in its sideboard. But if it has Harbinger of the Seas, then Force of Vigor doesn't help me. Force of Vigor does hit Meteor Sword at minimum. It's Soul Guide Lantern, not really for this. That one's a freebie to cut. I don't think Tabernacle will be any good against the deck with this much mana. So that's 2 in, and I'm plus a colored source of mana. Consigned to Memory has the cheeky counter Ophelia return, but I don't really want the game to be about that. I think I do want this Disruptor Flute. I just got to figure out where I'm going to put it. I think I can shave a depths for it because I'm not going to be pushing Merit Lage. We saw that game, how pushing Merit Lage into blue-white decks, especially blue-white decks that can flicker you, is not the best use of resources. Do I want to do anything else? My answers to Back to Basics right now are the 2 Boseijus. Don't really need Bojuka Bog. I could get a Force of Vigor in here just for the option. Yeah, I think I like having the option on that one. Okay. I'm mostly going to keep it light because this sort of deck should be a solid matchup anyway. They really do need something like Back to Basics to shut me all the way down for me to be worried about them. I like this hand. Prismatic Vista. And Tamiyo. Okay. That is a legend. And a creature. And on the back, it's a Planeswalker. Okay, a little bit dicey here. If they have Force of Negation immediately, this sucks. But I'm going to make the play that I have. Discard Ancient Tomb, play Urza's Saga, play Life from the Loam. And I just need this Loam to resolve once and we're in business. Cool. All right. Feeling good. Having Plow for the front of Tamiyo and Flute for the back of Tamiyo makes me not super worried about this thing at the moment. It will be worth a couple cards. Like, I have to spend a card to answer it, and it's already made a clue. Those are 2 strikes already. I am going to Dredge Loam. I need lands to play this game, and my deck is quite good at producing those. Would I rather have Plow up or Exploration in play? And I think the answer is Exploration in play. That sets me up to go the most nuts next turn. Oh no, did I just walk into Felia? I believe I did. Felia Flickering Mox Diamond is so devastating here. Okay, good. They just drew a card. Whoa, I might have messed that one up. I think I should have left up Plow there because of the Felia axis. Whoops. Oh, Wrath of the Skies is another card, a powerful card they might have access to. Am I getting immediately back to basics? No? All right, cool. Passing with 3 mana up. Drawing a land is big this turn. Being able to get the Life from the Loam back on the stack and continue hitting land drops, that's just going to be pretty important. Okay, we hit, so I don't have to slow my roll here. Fetching in response. I'd just be playing around Pithing Needle. I accept. And I could get Mox Diamond and push here. I could get Pithing Needle. Getting Mox Diamond plays around Back to Basics better. All right, I am going to get Mox Diamond. Life from the Loam, target Boseiju, Misty, Saga. All right, big turn for them not to have Force of Negation, and they didn't. Cool. I'm feeling pretty good here, team. And Wrath of the Skies gets them right back in this. It also kills their Tamiyo though, but I have Loam. I could plow Tamiyo here pretty safely. I just don't think that's my best target for plow in the matchup. I think Velia is. I could Disruptor Flute naming Wrath of the Skies right now. I think I am going to do that. I'm going to get basic Forest because I can make white elsewhere. Disruptor Flute naming Wrath of the Skies. That buys me a turn. Like, they might be attacking first to bank the clue. Wrath of the Skies. This also makes my constructs bigger, which I guess if I was going to do this, I could have thought about it and gotten an extra point of damage last turn, which actually would have changed the clock. If they were at 12 here instead of 13, then 2/6/6 attacking them next turn is actually lethal. I love when the little things matter. A Brainstorm flips Tamiyo. Okay, the constructs were not going to be lethal anyway. Tamiyo flips. Either construct can kill it if I'm willing to ignore their face and just attack that. That makes me softer to removal, but still good against the grind plan of the deck. Ooh, okay. Exiling my Disruptor Flute tells me Wrath of the Skies is the plan. Oh, I have to make a plan for them having Wrath of the Skies. I'm going to Dredge Loam. Okay, so I'm going to cast Light from the Loam, getting back Urza Saga, Savannah, and Misty Rainforest. I'm going to play Misty and Savannah because those don't die to Wrath. And I think I want to attack Face and Tamiyo and then make a construct. Attack Tamiyo, attack Face. There's no way to play around Wrath of the Skies with the construct. There's no sequence that gets you where you want to be. I'll make the extra Bella here to try to finish off Tamiyo. It'll at least cost them a Swords to Plowshares if they don't want to lose Tamiyo. Okay, if I crop rotate for Ghost Quarter, that doesn't necessarily help. If they fetch Tundra in the end step, they fetched another Plains. That might be the mistake I was looking for. Okay, what's the sequence here? It's crop rotate away Ancient Tomb. Or is it Savannah? I'm going to crop rotate Savannah for Ghost Quarter and try to take them off double white. They didn't have a third Plains last game. If they just have a fetch land in their hand for a Savannah or a Tundra, then it plays around this. A Mountain. Okay, was that smart or was that nonsense? Ponder. Okay, they're looking. All it takes is a fetch land, but that was a moment to abuse it. They shuffled. Another Ponder. Didn't shuffle. Found the fetch land. Okay, so this will get Tundra, which will Wrath me, and it'll take Exploration with it. It'll also take their clue with it. There's nothing clever to do here. It just happens. And then I get Lush Portico and we play on. Lush Portico. Mox Diamond. I do want that. Oh, I have to Dredge Loam. I guess it doesn't matter. Do I have to Dredge Loam? No. They have a bunch of islands in the deck. I don't have a Wasteland in the graveyard yet. All right, I'm actually going to bin the diamond because I want to Dredge Loam. Okay, Urza Saga. Play that one. Play from the Loam, target Thespian Stage, Urza Saga, and Ghost Quarter. And we're back to grinding. Back to basics. I have the Boseiju. Stoneforge Mystic. I have the Plow. Cryptic Coat. Grabbed with that. End step, Boseiju. I'll take the 2 to do it now and just be done with that. Island tutored out of the deck. I think I'm good on Loam, and I want to take a chance at drawing a useful card. Plow Stoneforge. Stage sets up the Infinity Saga, and also could pivot into Merit Lage next turn. Cryptic Coat, hard cast. I think I want a construct, because I can copy Saga in my upkeep for the same effect with Thespian Stage. And there I have enough mana to make a construct and do everything I want to do. I'm not going to Dredge Loam again. Force of Vigor, sweet draw. Okay, Thespian Stage taps for mana now. Make a construct. Tutor. Pithing Needle. Name Cryptic Coat. Cryptic Coat, can't bounce that now. You're committed. Saga from hand. And I am not going to attack with my Saga construct because next turn I can beat the creature and it's not just a trade. If they turn Felia face up right now. Oh, all right. Felia from hand, sure. All right. Now I regret not attacking, but that's okay. This is 5 damage. No, I don't regret not attacking because now I have blockers and they have to remove one of the constructs before Felia even gets a good attack. Like if they blink one out and I just trade Felia for the other one, that's a good deal. We're both at 8 life. After all this, my Ancient Tomb has done 12 to me this game. My opponent's done nothing to me, but I have done quite a bit to myself. And next turn, I'll have the ability to make 2 constructs. Ooh, no attack, hell yeah. The Flash and Felia make no attacks is so sick. Hardcast Meteor Sword, okay. That's gonna blow up this, almost certainly. Yep, that's gone. All right, now I'm back down to 1 construct. I still don't think I'm in the Dredgeloam business. I have lands I can still play. This can cast Force of Vigor. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could cast Force of Vigor or make a construct, but not both. They have to block at least one of these or they die, so I will make the attack. Okay, I will put you to 4. Flickering Meteor Sword is online now, but is it enough? I have 3 lethal attackers. You could do with one of them here, and I can make another one next turn. Oh, if I had Dredged Loam, I could have pitched Loam to Force of Vigor and blown out this whole line. That was a mistake. I was not thinking about all the angles here. I was thinking about, do I need 3 more lands in my hand? Not thinking about Loam as a green card, which would actually have been perfect. They can also... Oh yeah, this doesn't equip. This has no equip ability. Like, they can't just make Felia a 3/2 unblockable, which would be sweet if that was possible, but it's not. If they have another Wrath here, or a Meltdown, or a Dress Down, or anything like that, that could become complicated to deal with. I warped in a Rizzler with 2 cards in hand, though they couldn't get that last card out of their hand, even though it would have been good. And again, they can't actually flicker the sword. They can flicker out the construct and get through, but flickering sword or Riddler results in a dead Felia. Block, obviously. Okay, that's dead. Ponder. Pondering pre-combat would have been another look at Swords to Plowshares to make that a clear attack. All right. The Riddler comes back here. They draw another card. I have 3 lethal attackers. They have 1 visible blocker. And the attackers will be lethal even through a single removal spell. All right, I will Dredge Loam for the reasons I recognized last turn. And do I want to tap Ancient Tomb? That leaves me dead to a Riddler attack if they equip it with Meteor Sword, so I guess not. Make another one of these. I believe I have exactly 1 artifact left to tutor. Expedition Map now in my hand. Ghost Quarter in play. I will attack with my 3 6/6s. They need to block 1 and kill the other 2. Okay, that's 1 down. Still 1 more problem to solve. Felia, okay. Emergency chump block with Felia. Things could be worse for me. Right, 4, 6. 6 is a good amount of toughness to have on that creature. And I'm going to Ghost Quarter this Tundra and take them off double white. I think that's most of what I'm worried about, and I'm pretty confident they don't have another planes. Okay, I will pass the turn. I'm not going to use Force of Vigor unless they start doing things with these equipments. Like, bounce, replay, Cryptic Coat is an extra blocker. If they bounce it and I Force of Vigor in response, they have to bounce it again. They could still replay it for Xaxes. If they just equip Meteor Sword, they're dead on the backswing. Oh yeah, what a battle. Great match for round 1. We could have... I mean, there's some new cards here, like Quantum Riddler and stuff, but you could have played a match like this of Magic 10 years ago, and it would have been just as good. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I am on the play in round 2 with Exploration and Life from the Loam. I am definitely going to keep. There is some small part of me that is thinking about leaving up crop rotation instead of playing out Exploration, but I think I just have to inhabit the world that I live in and do the thing that's good for my deck rather than the thing that might be bad against a small part of the deck. All right. Force pitching Tameo. Oh, we're against another blue deck. Sad to see the pitch the Tameo with my Caracas rolled up here. And Swords to Plowshares in my hand. Hey, I got him anyway. Okay. I am going to use Caracas to bounce target legendary creature. I choose Tameo. I'm about to run out of land drops, but crop rotation Life from the Loam can solve that. If my opponent has Wasteland here, I can rotate the Caracas for free money. Ponder. New plan. I'm just worried about crop rotating getting dazed because that is bad news when that happens. And I have to crop rotate for a green source to keep the train going. Shuffled their Ponder. Wasteland. Okay. When do you want to use that? Do you want to use that? Okay, cool. I did draw a land, which can let me do stuff. I'm going to play out Thespian Stage and pass. If they waste Thespian Stage, I'll just copy my Forest, and that'll fizzle. Wasteland, you don't want to just jam off Wasteland. I think my opponent is using the card correctly right now. You don't want to just jam Wasteland off against lands, especially when you have nothing specifically going on, because there will be critical spots where taking out Thespian Stage so I can't just Dark Depths your ass matters. There will be spots where, like, Urza's Saga's in play and you have no other answer. Okay, Thoughtseize. I could crop rotate the Caracas in response here. That lets them waste the stage in between if they think that's important. I kind of need to crop rotate, though. All right, float a white, crop rotate. I can play around Daze. If they Wasteland Stage right now, they will get that value, but then I could get something like Urza Saga and continue the game I want to play. If they have Force of Will, that would be really annoying. But I'm just trying to get material in the graveyard for this Loam to actually work. Okay, stage, get. If I get Urza Saga, they could waste it before it knows how to make mana. And that's kind of stinky. Could just get my own Wasteland. I think that's what I want to do. With the Loam in my hand already, that is a game plan. I have 2 of this card. I'm not sure if this card matters in the matchup, and this card will come back from my graveyard. So I'm pretty resilient to Thoughtseize once the thing is out of my hand, the crop rotation. I'm going to use the floating mana to try to copy Forest, because if we go to second main, I just can't make that play anyway. Okay, deal. Life from the Loam it is. If I draw a land and also get to waste them, that would be so sick. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wasteland that. Life from the Loam, target 3 targets. If they daze me, then they don't have that land in play. Force of Negation is the card that would bum me out. Daze. Daze is fine. I can play that game. So 2 other cards in hand are Island and Tameo right now. Island, Tameo. Oh, what I'm going to do here is Dredge Loam and then try to use Caracas to bounce the Tameo, and they would need another counterspell here. All right, another Daze. Okay. I mean, that sets back the land again. If they've sandbagged a Brainstorm this long and can flip Tameo into Planeswalker mode, I'm still holding Pithing Needle. It's just kind of covered in every direction here. Dredge Loam. Target. Urza Saga, Wasteland, and Caracas. We got another Daze. Did I get through yet? Heck yeah. Okay, so turns out the play pattern of casting the same spell every turn is a fun one for one player. Dredge is just such a dumbass mechanic. Like, not even accounting for the Dredge deck and Bazaar of Baghdad and all the properly broken stuff. Just the experience of playing the same card on every turn of the game is so boring. Okay, I will continue dredging Loam. Bounce Tameo. Loam, target. Misty Rainforest, Ancient Tomb, Thespian Stage. I'm not going to play around Daze because I don't care. I would love if they Daze me here. I'd love it. Sign me up for a Daze. Okay. I'm going to play... I could develop Saga and get that going, or I could play Misty and represent Swords to Plowshares. I'm going to play Saga. I would like to start pushing back a little bit here. Get some aggression, some combat on the board. All right, Brainstorm was found, which is lucky for me that they didn't have it last turn when I bounced the Tamiyo when they had one blue open. There was a 1-turn window where if they had Brainstorm, it would have been bad. Scalding Tarn is an important fetch land here because if this is Dimir Tempo, they're not going to have a second island. They probably do have a swamp, but Scalding Tarn can't get basic swamp. Opponent's going to have to make a tough decision, either sit on this for a long time until it represents something like Murktide Regent, or cash it out quick and get out of here. I don't think I'm dredging Loam this turn. I have lands for a while, and I would kind of like to develop other stuff. And drawing Mox Diamond's pretty cool. And I'm going to be a bully here. I'm going to cast Pithing Needle. If they fetch, I'll play the Wasteland from my hand and hit what they fetched for. If they don't fetch, I'll just name Scalding Tarn. Undercity Sewers. I could name Polluted Delta and just hit 3 lands out of their deck. I could name the backside of Tamiyo just in case that gets online. I'm going to name Polluted Delta. There's going to be 3 more of those in the deck. Second Wasteland from hand. Get you with the Sandbag. And then Mox Diamond will discard Ancient Tomb. That lets me develop a construct and still have Caracas up to manage Tamiyo. And Soul Guide Lantern can come out of this saga right now, who got me with the Bloodstained Mire. This could get basic Swamp, but that doesn't cast Murktide Regent, which is the card I'm worried about. Like, if they play Murktide right now, I can tutor Expedition Map, which gets Maze of Ith, which manages Murktide. And that also assumes they have the counter backup to just stop me from just plowing it. And I also get to Wasteland them, if that's the reality we live in. But if they get Swamp, then they can't play Murktide, and I don't have to think about that. Swamp also doesn't cast Brainstorm, which means I don't have to think about managing the Tamiyo with Caracas. I can just do it. There's no subgame. Basic Swamp confirmed. All right, you get my Swords to Plowshares, but that costs you the turn of development, and now I get Soul Guide Lantern, and you're not going to get a Murktide anyway. The Plow's gone. I'm not bothering with Tamiyo. Fair enough. Makes sense. Why would you? I am not going to dredge Loam this turn because I don't want to accidentally dredge my Soul Guide Lantern, which might be a casual-ass thing to say, but that is actually the situation I just set up for myself. Soul Guide Lantern, take out Brainstorm, I guess. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to take it all out after combat. And then Mox Diamond. Discard Misty Rainforest. Thespian Stage, get in. Attack for 6. Snuff out, hell yeah. That is legal. And then I'm going to exile my opponent's graveyard. Okay. And we settle back into Life from the Loam, grinding. They would need a main deck Nile Spellbomb to start turning this game around. I don't think I'm worried about much else. Okay, they just cracked a clue and didn't do anything. I'm going to turn Thespian Stage into Forest. It's just a safe place to put it. And we go back to the Loaming. Loam targets Saga, Wasteland, Misty. Okay, that resolved. Saga's back in, and there's an active Thespian Stage that can be more Saga. We know one of their 5 cards in hand is Tamiyo. Yeah, might as well snuff out. It's the same damage, except the other way you take the damage next turn also. Okay, no action from opponent is good news. I'm going to make myself another Urza Saga. And if I dredge Loam, what am I looking for? Ghost Quarter? Dark Depths? I guess those are reasons to dredge. I did not hit. I don't even actually have 3 lands in the graveyard. I'm going to fetch for my Surveil land and see if I can spike one of the lands I was actually looking for. Beseiju. I'll put that in the graveyard. That's nice to pick up. Beseiju, Wasteland, and Misty Rainforest. Come to my hand, please. And pass. It would take something weird for them to be able to win this game at this point. It's like Land Barrogoyf buys them maybe 1 turn, maybe less. If they randomly have Dress Down in their Dimir Tempo deck, that could do it. Make another construct. Thespian Stage knows how to make constructs now. There's exactly 1 Mox Diamond left in the deck. and play out another saga, the Relentless Sagas. Orcish Bowmaster would buy a little bit of time here. Fatal Push buys a little bit of time. That's fine. Okay. The engine's online. I'm going to attack them with multiple lethal threats every turn for the rest of the game, and I got to figure that out. And finally ran out of juice. Cool. Okay. Appears to be regular old Dimir Tempo, a matchup that is largely positive. They play a low land count, not that many basics. Their threats don't hit that hard. I just have to try not to get Tamiyo'd out. I think Tamiyo going ultimate is what I'm worried about in the matchup more than anything. Unfortunately, this is a matchup where all of my tech lands matter. Dark Depths, Karakas, Maze, Bajuka Bog. There's all the things that I would look for a cut. I think 3 is just kind of too many Dark Depths. I think I can shave one of those safely. Maybe even 2. They could have Brazen Borrower or Shoulder's Edict, though blue-black tempo is not traditionally very good at dealing with Merit Lage, but I think that's okay with me. That I can't make quick Merit Lage, and I still have crop rotations, Loam, the Expedition map, and the sagas that get it. Like, I have lots of routes to 1 copy of Dark Depths, and grinding this opponent into dust is just more appealing to me as a game plan. Do I need 2 flutes? I could just bring in 1 to supplement the Pithing Needle, and then I have 4 plows, the Karakas, 2 needle effects to handle Tamiyo. Yeah, I guess I'll do it like that. Okay, let's jam. I love Sphere of Resistance versus Daze decks. Just pay 1 and pick up a land so things cost more. You have fewer lands and things still cost more next turn. This is an insane start. Unless my opponent has Force of Negation or turn 1 Graveyard Hate. I'm going to keep. I'm even resilient to Thoughtseize because I have 2 diamonds. Right, well, there's that one. That is the one I mentioned being a little worried about. Ooh, Wasteland is fun. That lets me get extra rowdy with the double diamond start. Diamond, GQ, diamond, stage. I'm keeping the Saga in my hand just in case they actually do have Force of Negation. Saga's the one I would like left over after all this. All right, and we're just in. Yeah, they see Ghost Quarter and Wasteland. We have a pretty brutal land denial soft lock starting turn 1. Swamp does not play Brainstorm, but if I Ghost Quarter them, the island they tutor can play Brainstorm. Do I Dredge Loam yet? I think I do, because there's a good chance I want to Ghost Quarter them next turn. Ghost Quarter you. This lets them crack the clue, which I don't love, but I do love. Oh, they didn't float mana. That's big. Okay, cool. And play Loam. Yeah, they could have drawn a card here. That makes me think they might already have Brainstorm or some other thing that they were planning to use the mana on. Okay, Brainstorm flips Tamiyo here. And that means I have to get Urza Saga going and get the Pithing Needle. So Tamiyo goes to 4. I play Saga. 6. Saga's on 2. 8. Saga pops. This is going to be heads up, and I'm in trouble to a Wasteland, kind of is now the situation. Okay, pass the turn and hope that this works. Oh, I also get to make a construct on the second turn, which can pressure Tamiyo, so it's not quite as straight up racy as that. But Wasteland's going to be a problem for me either way. But if they don't have any mana, I mean, this might be a game that I can beat a Tamiyo Ultimate in. If you can't play your 22 cards you draw, then it's fine. And the Ghost Quarter being here this early, this is the last basic in their deck. Undercity Sewer deployed. I'm not going to Dredge Loam this turn, as drawing something like an Exploration or a Crop Rotation would be a huge deal. And my next many land drops are accounted for already. Forest. It's not what I was looking for, but okay. Urza Saga. Expedition map. Okay, using Consign on that instead of a Saga trigger is fine with me. Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 on Saga are good. Please don't have Wasteland right now. Tamiyo up to 6. Not a Wasteland. And like Barrowgoyf's not great either, but it's better than Wasteland for me. Okay, not Dredging Loam. Crop Rotation, that could be Maze of Ith. That's nice. Okay, do I want to rotate now? I could chump for a turn and figure it out. Or I could just start denying their mana again. Okay, I'm going to go mana denial here. Mana denial plus chump block is the plan. Okay, we're here. Don't have Wasteland. And Fatal Push would be a little bit annoying, but manageable. 3/3 Construct. Snuff out. Okay, so Barrogoyf gets through. That can pick up creatures. 5 damage. Yeah, if they had a Murktide here, that's actually huge. Okay, whiffed on Barrogoyf. That's a big deal. And now please don't have Wasteland. Oh, they had a Murktide in hand. They will be okay. Bad news, everyone. Okay, now the plan is... No, they had it all! No! All right, now I'm fucked. Insanely fucked. Okay. Yeah, I was one turn of development away from the things I needed to be doing here. All right, drew Mazavith anyway. What does that do for me? Anything? And they're going to draw half their deck, and there's going to be Wastelands in there. Yeah, I think it's too late now. All right. Got me. Okay, so without the Murktide, without the Wasteland, I think either one of those I could still cover, but yeah, okay. That was tight. That was cool. But I did identify that Tamiyo Ultimate would be my problem, and didn't do everything I could to stop it, though maybe another Flute is where I want to be, but on the play I would have won that game, so does it even make sense to kind of overcomplicate on this sort of thing? No, I'm going with the same deck. I trust it. It was like that last game, if they miss any land drop at any point, if they don't have the Barrogoyf, if they don't have the follow-up Murktide, if they don't have Tamiyo plus Brainstorm, if I'm on the play, if any of those things are true, I win. So I'm not going to overreact to an opponent threading the needle. Sometimes that's just going to happen. Okay, I like this hand. It accelerates, it interacts, doesn't have Loam, unfortunately. I think I'm going to Mox discarding Boseiju and play Verdant Catacomb with the intent of getting the Surveil land. Bonus on a mull to 5. All right, pass the turn. Yeah, I'm just going to get the Portico and chill. I could rotate for Urza Saga, try to get aggressive here, but I don't think that's where I want to be. I don't want an Ancient Tomb either. Another Boseiju. All right, Thespian Stage is in play. This is threatening Dark Depths next turn. Should I be interested in such a thing? Dumped Kaito. Ponder. Underground Sea, Tamiyo. All right, I'm going to plow the Tamiyo, which is a plow I don't have for Barrogoyf, but what are you going to do? Wasteland, great find. I take out Undercity Sewers. I could crop rotate for another Wasteland here. I don't think that's where I want to be. Boseiju doesn't do what I want. And Ghost Quarter doesn't do what I want either. I think this crop rotation being back as counterplay to their Wasteland is more interesting to me. And they do in fact have a Wasteland. But so do I. Just made a Wastelands over here. They floated a blue. Didn't do anything with it. Cool, cool. I do have kind of an interesting play. I could Boseiju their Wasteland, and then they can decide if they want to fizzle my Boseiju or filter that into blue mana. The Ancient Tomb, get in there. They missed their land drop last turn. Force of Will is now the card I'm worried about. I could just try to rotate for Saga. Oh yeah. Inevitability. Life from the Loam. Target Wasteland, Wasteland, Verdant Catacombs. Force of Negation. That was the good card to have. I'll play out Boseiju because that taps for green. That Force pitched a Force of Will. All right, so I was right not to push. Would have gotten 2 for 1 on that crop rotation. Mox Diamond. Not super interested in that. I could copy Ghost Quarter with Thespian Stage, then Ghost Quarter the Wasteland, and then they either have no lands or I get all of their basics out of their deck. But it cost me my stage. I'll try that. I think I want this to be a Ghost Quarter. Even if I don't make the play, I can just make it that for a little bit. To another stage. Okay. Ghost Quarter this. They did value the blue mana. Second Thespian Stage. Copy the Ghost Quarter. And then destroy the island. They can get their swamp and cast Brainstorm. And then I can kill the swamp next turn. And I'm still not really doing anything, but I'm making it really hard for them to do anything, which is almost as good. This swamp can't cast Barrogoyf. It can't cast Murktide. There's just a a sequence of things that cannot happen this turn. You can't Kaito. You can Ponder. That's legal. Otawara. I'm going to destroy the Underground Sea. Ghost Quarter can do that too, and they should not have a basic to tutor. And I'm not going to play Otawara because that can be an answer to something if I need an answer to something. If they do get their land drops up into a Barragoyf here. Land drop confirmed. Tamiyo is here. Okay, I think I'm going to try a crop rotation. Because if this works, it's great. If it doesn't work, it's interaction out of their hand, force pitching consigned to memory. Okay. I can still bounce Tamiyo if I need to. I think I might just do that. This gives me big rips to hit Wasteland, Loam, Caracas, crop rotation. Oh no, Mox Diamond flooded. This is where it fades away. My opponent has successfully collapsed 2 different engines that I presented, and Tamiyo is an engine of their own. Yeah, Thoughtseize me. Hell yeah, got your ass. Okay, Tamiyo's in. All right, big rips. Light from the Loam. Sphere of Resistance, that's probably too late, but I'm definitely going to play it. Yeah, Tamiyo is active. It's drawing extra cards. Opponent knows my hand is just Mox Diamond. There are good draws in my deck, but my opponent is seeing cards much faster than I am. I busted the clue and missed a land drop. 5 spells in their hand. All right, well, I will invest in the future world where I top deck Light from the Loam. Tamiyo getting in. Cracking the clue. Okay. Big rips. Light from the Loam for the game. Tropical Island. All right. I will... Would I rather have that or a Mox Diamond? I think I'd rather have Tropical Island. In case they have, like, Engineered Explosives, which actually can't kill Mox Diamond unless they draw Wasteland, because they have to spend 1 mana on Engineered Explosives because of Sphere. And if that mana is colored, then the Explosives has to be on 1. But they do have at least 3 colorless sources of mana in their deck still. Okay, 9 cards in hand, did hit a land drop, yuck. Come on deck, Urza, Saga, Life from the Loam. So many good cards. Discarded Murktide sucks, that means they have another one. Okay. This is an important thing. I'm going to wait for them to fetch in the end step, and then I'll crop rotate. Oh, they didn't fall for it, shit, that sucks. They have to fetch at some point, though. If they're going to play Murktide. It's so likely they have a force at this point. They've drawn so many cards. Okay, so unfortunately, I think I have to get Bojuka Bog here, which doesn't solve my Tamiyo problem, but they did just discard a Murktide, which telegraphs that they have another one, because that's one of the best cards they could have here. And the Barragoyfs are looming. Yeah, that crop rotation showed up 1 turn too late to become Urza Saga and dominate the game, or become Wasteland and stop them from really doing anything. They didn't force it, though, which is notable. Yeah, Kaito is live here. Yuck. All right. Kaito is real clock. I'd still welcome a Life from the Loam. And this build of the deck isn't playing the Malevolent Rumbles, which a lot of the stock builds of lands are on. We're playing all the other fun colored spells instead. And like Malevolent Rumble, it's very close to 1 mana draw 5 in this deck. And that's the type of thing that would maximize my action. I don't even know if it's right to play this, but it is going to happen. If this Kaito just goes coast to coast on me, what can I do? But I could at least try to slow down Murktide's Barragoyfs, Tamiyo, if they have to tap all the way out to do it. This makes Force of Will much harder to cast for if I do rip the Loam. Magic Online just kind of gave me a message, like it was like my opponent was trying to do something, which makes me think they do have a force in their hand and they just forgot about this sphere when they tried to do it. Maze of It doesn't get Kaito. Like, it's going to be really hard to answer this thing. They could announce Engineered Explosives for 0 and then pay blue-black for it, and that would leave an Explosives on 2 in play. That could clear the spheres if they even care. Kaito still trying to draw cards, not pumping for damage. Oh yeah, probably just generating Murktide stuff. Murktide costs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, okay. You can delve to pay for Sphere of Resistance, and now I am very close to dead. I would take a Maze of Ith here. Crop rotation. That's Maze of Ith. One, kind of. All right, well, my problem is not solved if they have Wasteland, and they've seen so many cards in their deck that there's a good chance of that. But I'm going to get the Maze of Ith while they're tapped out of Force of Will, at least. It's just bought me like 2 turns, I guess. Played out Polluted Delta. They can now cast 2 drops. Oh, fetch, fail to find. Yeah, hell yeah. All right, they're completely out of lands. If I can stabilize this board, I'm good. But stabilizing this board will not be easy. Kaito's still drawing cards. Dumped 2 cards. Wasteland is always just going to be one of the best draws in their deck. They can get that before I get anything going. That will be bad news. Discarded Fatal Push. Good call, you won't need that. 1. Oh god. I have to tap Ancient Tomb to play the Soul Guide Lantern. Is there any universe where that's good? And Kaito's... It makes Kaito a 2-turn clock, but I do get to cycle it off and draw a card. I guess I have to take this. Ugh. Feels bad, man. This also makes Murktide bigger. But Murktide will kill me if it hits me anyway, so I don't care about that. I'll exile the Ponder out of respect for possible Barrogoyf. Then I'll draw a card. Urza Saga could stabilize right now. Oh, Life from the Loam. That's probably 1 turn too late. They've also drawn more than 2/3 of their deck, so maybe it's any amount of turns too late because it doesn't matter. Yeah, Kaito just full beating. I'm not even close to being able to Otawara bounce Kaito, and even if I could, they could ninjutsu the Murktide away. Oh, second Murktide. Is that what we're doing? Yeah, okay. And drawing Tabernacle doesn't help either. Yeah, Kaito just unbeatable. If Kaito is Barrogoyf, there might be outs I could play too, but not in this case. All right, GG. That was sick. Lands with the engine versus lands without the engine. This, where is it? The Force of Negation they played on that Life from the Loam. If that's Force of Will, I win this game easily. If Loam just resolves, I win the game easily. It has to be Force of Negation there, and it was. And that was just a good play. And then we went into garbage time for a long time, and they had some cantrips to smooth out their draws in the clutch middle turns. The turn that I got the Bajuka Bog to slow down the Murktide, I could have gotten Wasteland instead to turn off Kaito, but they had just telegraphed that they had Murktide, and I didn't have Maze of Ith at the time, so it's really a question of, would I rather play against Murktide or Kaito in the dark, just on a face-up board? Or would I rather play against a guaranteed Murktide or the possibility of Kaito? I don't know. Certainly different decisions could have been made that could have made this game a little different, but they just did a good job hitting the land drops after the early lock. On to the next one.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 3 with a turn 1 Sphere of Resistance straight into Ghost Quarter Life from the Loam. I'm going to keep Sphere. This would be a great opponent to be on Oops All Spells, though I recognize their name and I've played against them before, and my Oops brain isn't triggering. Basic Island. I wonder how many of those you got. Let's find out if it's more than one. All right, I'm just going to GQ that immediately. This might do close to nothing, or it might be devastating. The game might end. Okay, more than one island in the deck, but I have more than one Ghost Quarter, thanks to Life from the Loam. Waiting for their draw step to do that gives you a slight possibility that they draw that basic island and then they don't get to tutor it, but that also gives an opportunity to float mana, tutor, do another thing, and if they have like a Brainstorm that they drew that they didn't have before, that's a spell they could cast. Misty Rainforest, cracking that off. I hope we see a Volcanic Island or something I can take out here. I don't think they're going to be Delver with 2 basic islands in the deck. It could be a Show and Tell deck. It could be some control something rather. Like Tundra could come out of this. If this is a Beanstalk deck, we might see a Trop or a Savannah. Whatever it is, I've already put them to the test of having a third basic land in their list. Okay, there is one. Ponder. So I think I'm going to spend this turn picking up the Ghost Quarter with Loam, and then we'll see if there's a fourth basic land in the list. Shuffled the Ponder, good news. Thespian Stage, or I could just go for Dark Depths turn after next. Okay, and this Thespian Stage can even be a forest for me. Just get it all here. If they reveal potential white mana, I am not going to go for Depths. Like, this could be Omni Show trying to get the pieces together, or it could be a Bant control, something or other. And if they were to go Ancient Tomb, Show and Tell here, and then they put in Omniscience or Emrakul, I put in Dark Depths, I actually win that fight because the Sphere means the Omniscience wouldn't work. I'm going to copy Forest in their end step, and now that they've played a non-basic, I'm going to waste them and then Loam to pick up my 2 destructive lands. Oh, that's nice. Now it's even better. Okay, Wasteland, target the Trop, and play Mox Diamond. If they want to Force of Will this, it doesn't really affect my life. Discard Yavimaya to hide the fact that I have Dark Depths in my hand. And do you have Force of Negation, and is it worth using? A compound question. Force of Will is not worth using here. I guess, like, if you have some sort of tempo game plan and some ability to do anything, Force Pitching Show and Tell. Okay, so they are Show and Tell. Interesting. And I'm still going to go score to them next turn. Or, now that I know they're Show and Tell, presenting the Dark Depths. I don't beat Omniscience now. I would have beat it last turn because my stage is tapped. Yeah, Omni Show confirmed. Sphere of Resistance doing everything here. Entire game plan. I probably don't beat a Raw Dog Emrakul here. Unless I top deck Caracas or Crop Rotation to get Caracas. We got a holy shit, this is so awkward, haha, in the chat. Yeah, Sphere of Resistance, a tough card to play around. If they have Ancient Tomb, Show and Tell. Okay, yeah, City of Traders. All right, Show and Tell. I put in Dark Depths. You have the Omni, but it doesn't work right now. And I think I want to Dredge Loam no matter what here. Okay, so I could Loam, Wasteland the City of Traders. Omniscience is limited to 2 spells per turn. Or I could just hope that, or I could give them 4 spells this turn and then kill them with Merit Lage on the next. I didn't mill over Beseiju, which I would have been I would have been able to perfectly do, so missed on that one. Or do I think denying mana in the face of Omniscience is better than, like, if they just have shared summons for Emrakul, it doesn't matter. Okay, Loam targeting Wasteland, Ghost Quarter. I think trying to slow down the Omni is worth doing here, especially because the city is good for 2 spells. Like, if I do it this way, I can try to weather this turn, Ghost Quarter them next turn, and then Merit Lage them after that. They're stock up. They just had it. All right. Okay, so 1 turn behind of the activation. If I just, like, what did I do last turn with my mana? I wasted them and then loamed. Yeah, okay. Turns out if I just didn't do that, I might have won with the Merit Lage, but you can't know that at the time. They did have to come up with 2 mana land, Show, and Omni after pitching a Show to Force. I think I can live with that. Force of Vigor is great, Beseiju's great, Disruptor Flute's great. Swords of Plowshares is bad, Soul Guide Lantern, Bajuka Bog, Tabernacle. I think I might want 1 Maze of Ith to stay in, just because sometimes they have Atraxa and not Emrakul. But for the most part, that's not what we're doing. Caracas is fine. Wasteland's great. All my Ramp and Tutor is great. Maybe I can cut the other maze here. I have the Caracas for that sort of thing. This is boarding out 4 lands when I'm trying to support Mox Diamond. Or net 3 lands because I'm bringing in a Beseiju. I think, again, I just have to be okay with that. Cost of doing business. Let's go. Okay. I will keep this one because Disruptor Flute is one of my better cards. And I have Force of Vigor that could challenge a Omniscience. I'm going to get the Portico here. I don't need another Dark Depths. Wasteland is cool. I'm going to play Thespian Stage and pass. If they fetch, I'm going to Flute in response because that turns off Daze for that brief window. Didn't fall for it. The thing I said is still true, though. If they fetch, I'm Fluting in response. Ancient Tomb, fetch, Disruptor Flute. Have the Force of Will. Okay. Force pitching Born Upon a Wind. All right, that makes going over the top with Omniscience harder. But their 5-card hand is going to have Show and Tell plus a payoff. Well, Show and Tell resolves. I'll put in Wasteland. Atraxa. Okay. That's not as bad as Omniscience, but it also means I'm not ready to fight it. That's what I do to fight it, is put a 20/20 in front of it. So I am kind of ready to fight it. But we see Show and Tell and Omniscience in this hand. A Petal, Omniscience, Trop, Consign. Right, there's the Petal, Trop, Omniscience, Consign. These are the cards that were kept. Okay, so I'm going to put a 20/20 in front of a double. All right, I have 2 sends on Omniscience now. And I am going to hope that my Avatar God beats their Phyrexian Angel, Sephiroth. Consign to Memory does not stop Dark Depths from happening. You can counter the make an Avatar trigger, but the thing isn't sacrificed until after that. Right, Show and Tell is going to resolve. Can't stop that. There's the Omni and the Show. 5 cards left in hand. We know 2 of them. The One Ring. I'll respond with Force of Vigor on the Omniscience and Lotus Petal before they could draw another card. Force of Will. Oh no. Force of Vigor again. 1 unknown in the hand. Brainstorm. Oh, that was a good unknown. Because they don't need blue cards to pitch to Force. They could just cast it for free. Okay, Omniscience is dead, but One Ring is in. They've still got a mana floating. They could Show and Tell again now. Stock up. Yeah, that's pretty darn good. And the One Ring buys a turn versus Merit Lage. Atraxa buys 2 more turns because it blocks once and puts them over 20 when it does it. They did not attack, but did pause like they were thinking about it. I am just going to make the Merit Lage now because I would like the ability to Wasteland and do other stuff. Keep the one without any counters on it. Make sure to execute this quickly. Please consign this. Please consign this. Just give me some error to try to get back in this. Okay, they know better. They know how it works. Ew, ew. Give me a real Merit Lage, you asshole. All right, I'm going to waste City of Traders, and I'm going to play out Urza Saga. I'm wasting City of Traders because if Ring pings them for 1 or 2, and they tap Ancient Tomb to do stuff, then this Merit Lage might be enough to kill them in 2 hits instead of 3. Ponder. Yeah, all they need is like a Chain of Vapor, an Echoing Truth, Boomerang Basics, Otawara. I don't know. I'm just naming cards. Ponder didn't shuffle. That's not good. Sink into Stupor. That'll do it. All right. I've seen enough. I guess I could top deck exactly Caracas, and then I'm not under any pressure and they gotta survive their One Ring. I don't know. I'll take 1 more draw step. All right, GG. GG. That was a pretty intricate matchup for as good as both of our hands were and as quick as the games were, that there were a lot of little things and decisions and things that had to go right on my opponent's side. I actually feel like it was their job to solve the problems this game, or this match, which is interesting because they're the turn 1, turn 2 combo deck, and I'm the non-blue deck. But it did feel like they had to thread the needle, not me. Cool. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks at the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Receivables has it at youtube.com/thereceivables. I'm on the draw in round 4. My hand is slow and maybe steady. It doesn't really interact with stuff also. I mean, I have Loam. I have Saga Sphere. All right, I'm going to keep and hope the matchup is on at least the medium slow side. Underground Mortuary. That's not normally in fair decks. Oh, okay. This hand just got a lot faster. Okay, Mox Diamond, discard Dark Depths, play Urza Saga, play Sphere. All right, that feels good. All right, well, Underground Mortuary could be in something like Pox. It could be a start in something like Cradle Control, if they just had it, the one of Mortuary in their opening hand. But I think it's much more likely that this is some sort of Storm or Reanimator deck than any of the things I just said. I have kind of an awkward situation right now where I'd really like Soul Guide Lantern to be in play, but if I play it, I have to target my Dark Depths in the graveyard. I guess what I'm going to do here is develop the constructs, get some beats going, and try to Soul Guide next turn and hope I get a next turn. Oh, Dark Confidant. If they're just fair Jund, then I'm sorry for what's about to happen. But all right, fair Jund, not a big part of the Legacy metagame. All right, if you're playing Dark Confidants, I'm just going for it here. I'm not going to slow my roll for that shit. I will play Soul Guide Lantern, and I'm going to have to exile my Yavimaya, but I accept. I'm going for beats here. Revealed Wasteland to Dark Confidant. That would have been good last turn. Okay, big draws. Swords to Plowshares. It's good to know about, but I'm not going to cast it here. Orcish Bowmaster, still not going to cast it. Yeah, we get the chumps keeping Dark Confidant around. Loam back my targets for Loam. And I think I would still rather have Crop Rotation up or keep the Swords to Plowshares for a potential Barrogoyf than be worried about this Dark Confidant. There's the Wasteland. I'm going to Crop Rotate the Saga away in response. Probably just get another Saga would be the way to go. I could also get Wastelands and try to just screw my opponent, but yeah, I think just keep Saga pumping. There we go. All right, fair Jund. I'm not even sure what this deck contains. Pretty sure I want Swords to Plowshares, though. Yeah, we saw Bob, Bowmaster, Wasteland, and no other information. I'd be surprised if this deck can support a Blood Moon kind of thing. They're probably going to have Graveyard Hate of some variety, maybe Endurance, maybe Nile Spellbomb. I think I'd like a Flute in. Like a Flute can answer various Planeswalkers, various Nile Spellbomb, Tormod Crypt kind of things. If I want to name Wasteland to clear the way for Dark Depths, that's probably good. Would I rather have Soul Guide Lantern or Bojuka Bog in? I'm going to cut one piece of Graveyard Hate, and I think I'd like to keep the one that's a land, even though the other one draws cards. Pernicious Deed is a card they might have. Ooh, that's hot. Do I want to shave a Mox Diamond against the potential Deed, potential Meltdown? Yeah, I think I'm going to shave one diamond. Okay, I'll try this. I feel like this is probably a great matchup for me as long as I don't blow it somehow. Or get got by some surprise sideboard card. All right, this hand doesn't have an engine, but does have a ton of destruction. I'm going to keep it. A Bayou Pass is what they got for me. I'm going to go Tropical Island, Exploration, Ancient Tomb, Sphere of Resistance, and hope they don't have Force of Vigor. That's my plan. Okay, I didn't get Vigored. I boarded out a Mox Diamond, still have a handful of them. I'll Wasteland that colored mana source you're working with. Loaded a black. For what? Bowmaster? Nope, that costs 3. So Trickle Extract my Wastelands, sure. Not like I have a loam to use them with anyway. I'm not convinced it's right to play out that Tropical Island, but I'm still going to do it. The double Wasteland. Yeah, you wanna play this game? I'll play it. I could Disruptor Flute Wasteland now because they just took mine out of my deck. All right, I am gonna do that actually. If they want to waste me in response, I'll just name something else. Okay, yeah, I don't have any of this card. And I'm not going to play Yavimaya and turn on green mana for them. Mishra's Bauble. Looking at my top of my deck. Another Sphere, let's go. Mox Diamond. I'll play that first, because now I am pretty convinced I want it. 1, 2, 3, another Sphere. I'm still not doing anything, though. In Ursa Saga, changes that. Pithing Needle doesn't change that. I'll save that in case I see something that it can actually name. Thespian Stage, okay. All right, I'm halfway to one a combo. Now Dark Depths is good. Crop Rotation's good. Loam is slow but fine. Saga's great. Opponent's going to clean up now, out of stuff to do. Drawing all 3 Mox Diamonds after boarding one out because it's a bad draw in the matchup. Thanks for showing up, guys. Opponent going to clean up, dumping Dragon's Rage Channeler. I think I would like another Mox Diamond in play here. This is terrible if they draw a red source and have access to Meltdown, but they're never playing Pernicious Deed. Okay. All right. We're in. Okay. Now I feel good. I'm just going to pass the turn and hopefully kill them in the end step after they pay 5 mana for some card that doesn't matter right now. Like Dark Confidant. There we go. Battle Cruiser operational. Crop rotate away this Ancient Tomb into a Dark Depths. That'll do, pig. I don't think there's anything that can be done about this through the spheres. Cool. All right. Fun. I don't even know if that's a throwback matchup. It's certainly, like, Jund had about 2 weeks where it was an exciting legacy deck, and that was probably 12, 15 years ago. I associate that with Pat Cox, the pro player from the era. I think he did well at like a Grand Prix or something with that deck. People tried it for a little while, and then it wasn't a surprise anymore and it stopped being good. I don't know. Cool to see people try new stuff or old stuff or different stuff in the legacy space. On to the next round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I am on the draw in the final round with turn 1 Sphere of Resistance into... Is this the turn 2 Dark Depths? I mean, it's pretty close. All right, I'm going to keep this. I haven't actually done the math of what I could do here. So if I go Diamond, Stage, Sphere, then the next turn Depths, I have to play both Diamonds. Oh, Dwarven Ruins. This is going to be a great deck to Sphere of Resistance against. Life from the Loam. Does that make this easy or hard? Okay, I kind of wish that was like any land. I could just slow down or speed up. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Mox Diamond, discard Ancient Tomb, Mox Diamond, discard Thespian Stage, Life from the Loam, get these 2 back. All right, I'm not gonna try to win on turn 2 because I think I was a mana short. I'll just win on turn 3 with my entire engine firing in every direction. This is gonna be the Cascade combo, and I don't even know if this deck can beat a Sphere of Resistance. Ghost Quarter, can they beat that? No way, this deck has basics. I'm gonna take out the Ancient Tomb. Okay, there's one basic that got me. But I can Ghost Quarter them every turn. And unless they get something crazy going here, like even if they spend 5 mana to get in the Throes of Chaos, is that what that card is called? The 4 mana Cascade with a retrace? Even if they put that on the stack, the Tybalt's Trickery will also cost 1. I'm just going to try to Loam lock them here. Ghost Quarter, take out the Needle, because Needle can tap for 2 properly, where Dwarven Ruins has to lose itself to tap for 2. All right, they're out of basics, which means 2 turns from now they're going to be out of lands. And all I need to do to completely take over this game is for Life from the Loam to mill over a Wasteland once. Like right now, I'm kind of treading water. Like I'm getting cooked by my Ancient Tomb. Tybalt's Trickery, countering Life from the Loam. Okay. I guess I'll cast Mox Diamond. Alright, that was a cool trick. I'll discard this Tabernacle at Pendrel Vale. I don't think that's what the game's going to be about. And that does make me +1 mana for the future. And I hit Beseiju, which is actually just as good, maybe better than Ghost Quarter here. Alright, I'll dump out Thespian Stage and pass. Okay, they still haven't solved the Sphere of Resistance problem that I don't think their deck can actually win through. They could have up to 7 mana this turn if they have another 2 mana land that comes in untapped, which they do. Or they could like Creative Technique, hope for the best, try to flip Emrakul on the first look. I don't even know what the plan is here. Oh, Noise Marine. Okay. That costs all their mana. Okay, so this is just a 3/2, and they can't play the Cascaded card because it's illegal. Deals damage equal to number of spells you cast to any target. Okay, I take 1. Fair enough. Now, I could Dredge Loam, try to do something, or I could just put Dark Depths into play. I think I will Dredge Loam just to invest in the future, and then here's my 2020. Go. Or I can do both, right? Yeah, I can. All right. Beseiju, Ghost Quarter, and I don't think it's Otawara. Maybe Saga. Okay, hands gassed up, and I can make a 2020 this turn. They are kind of at a scary amount of mana where they could send it and cast like 2 or 3 more spells. If their hand is even set up to do that. Okay, cool. Just a Sphere of Resistance. Okay, Consign to Memory is going to be important here. Disruptor Flute's important here. Beseiju is good here. If you haven't seen this deck, the point of it, it's built around the card Creative Technique, which is a 5-drop that flips cards off your deck till you hit a spell, then it casts that spell, and it has Demonstrate, which means you get 2 copies of it if you give me 1 copy of it. And the goal is to flip something big with Cascade and then Cascade down into another Creative Technique, then do that again and basically Cascade through your whole deck until you hit like Emrakul or a bunch of haste creatures or something. And every one of those cards costs more along the chain with Sphere of Resistance in play. That's why it felt so hopeless for my opponent there. And I think I can cut Swords to Plowshares because that's not really what I'm about. Bajuka Bog can go. I think I can cut 1 Dark Depths. I want to maintain my high mana velocity here. I think I actually do want Tabernacle as well, because if they go in on a bunch of sack lands to make a powerful board state and pass, Tabernacle could get them. Wasteland is incredible. Wasteland is just like double time walk against this deck. I don't think I want Surgicals. I might cut another Depths. I just need to cut stuff, and it's not going to be my spells. And I need to max out Diamonds and Tombs to max out turn 1 Spheres, because that's my best weapon. Mazavith, probably. 1 Mazavith and 2 Depths. Bunch of lands that don't make mana. Okay, here we go. Pithing Needle could name Beseiju or Otawara, like something like that. That could kill my Sphere. All right, I'm going to keep this as Consign can counter a Cascade trigger, which can get me into Disruptor Flute, which can name Creative Technique. All right, Leyline of the Void. They mulled to 6 and have Leyline of the Void. I think I'm just okay with all that. Oh, GQ, nice. Okay, Savannah, Exploration, GQ. Would I rather them have 3 mana? Yeah, I think so. They have that mountain they could tutor. That's fine. And then I'll figure out the rest next turn. Next turn I can go Disruptor Flute plus Consign to Memory. And I can have Flute respond to whatever they do. Like if they play one of the low-cost Cascaders, Flute can name Tybalt's Trickery. A Trop and Catacomb. Pass. This leaves Otawara in hand in case I want to clear that Leyline. Oh wow, they just have nothing? That's sick. Okay, I guess I'll fetch then for a Lush Portico. I don't really want Forest. Forest does bounce the Leyline though. All right, I will put Forest on top. And then I'm going to go Disruptor Flute, naming Creative Technique. Okay, pass the turn. The plan is to bounce Leyline this turn, then crop rotate for something useful on a future turn, and then maybe get an engine going. Exploration, another one of those. Don't really need the second one, but my plan is to find life from the loam someday. Do I want to rotate for Saga? I think yes. All right, crop rotate for Urza's Saga. Getting Wasteland is the other option, but Saga can eventually get Wasteland 2 through the expedition map. And if you crop rotate for Saga before your main phase, then it immediately is in construct mode. Okay, here we go. Creative Technique costs 1 million, and I can consign to memory a low-cost Cascade. I don't think I actually want to do the Thespian stage thing here, or I at least want to make a construct first. Mox Diamond, that's useless. Okay, do I want Saga Forever? Or no, I'm just gonna make the constructs now and tutor Expedition map, which will get Wasteland after I attack for more damage. Right, map for Wasteland. Opponent's been missing land drops this whole game. Let's make it even worse. I'm currently tapped out if they have Ascend somehow, but I don't even know if the deck's capable of that. Ancient Tomb, okay. Might have found Wasteland just in time. A second flute, nice. Okay, that's awesome. All right, yeah, I'm just gonna... If I had fluted pre-combat, this would be lethal, but if they tap Ancient Tomb, it's still lethal. All right. I'm gonna Disruptor Flute naming Tybalt's Trickery in the end step. That should stop both of their chains. And if I draw a land, I win. Shit. All right. So I did miss lethal by not playing that Disruptor Flute up front, but they can't tap Ancient Tomb now, which should be almost as good. And they can't play cards like Meltdown because that would ruin their Cascade chain. I'm kind of rooting for them to solve it, which they did not do. Okay, cool. A positive record with 4-color lands. I'm not an expert on building the land shell, so I don't know where the various pressure points are. I did miss having Malevolent Rumble compared to playing Malevolent Rumble builds of the deck. The games that I lost were the ones where I couldn't get an engine going, where I did a little bit early on, and then it was just like, now it's a card draw contest where 34 of the cards in my deck are lands, and then another 4 cards are Mox Diamond, and then another 4 cards are Sphere of Resistance, and then another 4 cards are Exploration, which don't matter if I don't have lands. And there's really... you don't have a high concentration of action if your opening hand engine gets countered. And Malevolent Rumble does so much, like getting to pick a permanent. Everything you care about in the deck is a permanent, and the one thing that isn't a permanent is Life from the Loam, and the graveyard is where you want it anyway. That card just does everything the deck wants, and even if you do like Swords to Plowshares and Consign to Memory on the splash, I would probably try to support Malevolent Rumble somewhere in this package. Also, the mono green builds that get to play 4 Yavamayas. There were games where I literally had 4 lands that don't tap for mana in my hand. It was like Depths, Tabernacle, Maze or something. Was that game 1, if I'm remembering right, where Yavamaya turns that all on. I'm mostly just describing the Richard Garfield Magic the Gathering mana system where adding colors to your deck gives you access to powerful things but makes your mana worse. Like, yeah, that's the theory on which Magic the Gathering was designed. And it's still true today. The Consign to Memories were pretty cool. It was nice to have access to that, especially in those combo matchups. I did not really feel specifically strong about Swords to Plowshares, having just played this league. I had an opponent put some Murktide Regents into play against me, but I have Mazovitz to manage those. I have Graveyard Hate to slow them down. I guess I plowed an early Tameo or 2 throughout the league. That probably matters a lot. But Dismember would get that too. I'm trying to think of cards that Plow gets, but Dismember doesn't. Like large enough Barrowgoyfs and almost all Murktides would qualify. I do really like Caracas, though, in this Tameo format. I'm into it. Not having Lava Spur Boots in the Saga package was also something that I felt a couple times, where giving that second construct haste or giving your Merit Lage haste and Ward 1. These are both things that come up pretty often when you're trying to turn the corner. But the build with 4 Sphere of Resistance and a bunch of Swords to Plowshares might just be trying to play even more control than normal. And I think these are unfortunately the slots where these other cards would have to go. So that is kind of a fundamental shift. If the games are going to happen faster because you're not sphering and you have to respect a different range of creatures because you don't have plow to get them all, that does affect how you have to play and build and probably what goes in your sideboard and everything. I'll leave that to smarter lands builders than me. But lands, rock solid. This core proved itself, positive record. And it shows it's still competitive even if you are off the beaten stock path. I'm going to leave this one here. Kill a Cat, thanks for the deck. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.